3D platformers has been a game genre that has been so influential over the years. Starting especially with Mario 64 back in 1996 when there weren't as many competitors as there are today. It is even arguable to go as saying that Mario 64 was the one that started it all for these platformers. Fast forward to late 2013 as Mario 3D World was just coming out as a sort of a sequel to Super Mario Land on the 3DS, and many found it pointless as it seemed like a wasted opportunity to expand on the series, although others found it to be one of the best yet. And now that it has ported onto the Switch with an extra mode, we're going to see how it holds up with today's standards and how it can even compare to its predecessor 3D platformer on the Switch, being Mario Odyssey. Now, if we're going to review the game or the overall package, there's obviously going to be multiple things we're basing it off of. So on the screen, you're going to see 6 main categories, including the Bowser's Fury mode, and then at the end we can give our overall take and opinion on it and whether it's worth it or not. But now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get started. One of 3D World's strong suits is the actual level design itself, in my opinion. Now before we actually do get into this, I'd like to talk about the World Hub design first. In the average Mario game, the World Hub is quite simple as you go from level to level. Now in 3D World, the World Hubs have almost just as many details and secrets as actual levels. It encourages you to want to search around and go look behind every castle, look in the grass, and do much more. You have Captain Toad levels in this game, which by the way inspired Captain Toad to become a full Nintendo game. There's mushroom houses and slot machines that give you a chance to get multiple power-ups and even 1-ups. You even run into mini-bosses while progressing through the worlds like Charging Chucks, Magic Koopas, and even Big Goombas. And all of the things I named aren't even the main levels whatsoever, so it makes you wonder how much time they really took on this game. On to the actual level designs, and I seriously don't even remember the same level layout repeating itself more than twice, even though some worlds can keep the same specific theme. That's honestly really impressive because when you go back and look at the 2D Mario games, you will realize almost every world can repeat the same levels. In Mario games, I never really liked the sand worlds for some reason because I always found them really irritating growing up, but in this game, they seem to be designed so much better in 3D. The only complaint I can really have for the level design in this game is the fact that some levels are just not made for multiplayer. This can be really annoying sometimes because it can affect the gameplay in a poor way and make you stop wanting to play the level. But other than that, I think it has some of the best levels in any Mario game. Now, if we're talking originality, we need to talk about the obvious things, and that's what's making this game different and unique. Now, a lot of 3D World's power-ups are from previous games from what I know. The Cannon Box, Propeller Box, and Boomerang Flower are all from 3D Land on the 3DS. But I know that this game implemented new things like the Super Bell, which obviously turns Mario into a cat, giving him the ability to climb walls, run faster, and get new moves like scratching and pouncing. It even gives you the ability to run up the flag at the end of the level. But that's not the only power-up they've added. There's obviously the Double Cherry, which pretty much clones you, and this can actually be helpful from time to time because there are times where you need more than one person to reach things like stamps or stars. And then we got the Goomba suit, which blends you in with the Goombas and stops you from getting attacked. And then finally we have the Lucky Bell, which turns them into their Lucky Cat forms. Something new that this game added were the collectible stamps. In every level you obviously have the 3 stars just like in most Mario games, but in this one there are stamps in every level. While collecting these stamps and stars, you can unlock the final world called Champion's Road. It's pretty much just a secret world with some pretty difficult levels. The last unique thing I'd like to talk about are the characters. Now there are the 4 defaults being Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Blue Toad, and the cool thing is they all have a stronger ability than one another. Mario is an all-around person who is pretty much good at everything. Luigi can jump the highest but is a bit slower. Toad can easily run the fastest, but he doesn't jump as high and it takes him longer to start his dash. And Peach can float in the air for a long time, which is really helpful for the later levels. But there's another character who you unlock, which is Rosalina, and she has an attack move.
This game is a much better version from the Wii U, especially when it comes to optimization. It looks great. From the shading and light levels alone, this game is a major improvement over the original. The little details like the water effects in rainy levels and Bowser's Fury, and on Mario's clothing when it's raining, just adds to the immersion. The art style is very vibrant and colorful, which also adds to the appeal, making it feel like a true Mario game. 3D World runs well most of the time with smooth gameplay, a smooth frame rate, and a breath of fresh air for somebody who plays Smash Bros. Like me. And even though the game plays very well, sometimes in multiplayer there are some hiccups. It is mostly due to bad connections, but sometimes it is just the game not running well. Maybe it's due to too many assets being loaded. Maybe the servers just aren't running well. It just sometimes has the occasional hiccups. But overall, it's a pretty well optimized game in terms of performance. It's very well executed, and it's one of the better games on the Switch in terms of optimization, especially in multiplayer. We've only had a couple hiccups, and we've played like a couple hours of the game, and it feels like great to play with friends. It's just those little hiccups that kind of like make you feel like not very well, like it's not really running that well. The difficulty of the controls and platforming is very much dependent on the character, but we talk about the difficulty in the level design section, so I'll be leaving that to no one. But I'll be using Mario as a base, since he's an all-around character and he's not that hard to control. Luigi, on the other hand, is pretty hard to control, because he's extra slippery, he jumps higher than all of the other characters, and is pretty slow. Though, in some cases, he's one of the nicest characters to have, especially on the vertical levels where you can just jump over everything, where other characters have to evade and like do extra platforming. And it's the opposite with Toad, where he's way faster than everybody else, which really helps on like the dashing levels and like the ones that you can just speed through. And Peach is not a middle ground. She has the second lowest jump. She is the slowest character, but she has a float, which makes her unique. Each character has a multitude of unique platforming tricks, like the things I just listed, and they have like certain things that they can do that other characters can't. That isn't just their like special abilities or whatever. But something that every character can do is obtain power-ups, and power-ups really add to the platforming, like the cat suit. The cat suit allows you to climb up walls for a certain length of time. It allows you to do a dive that can attack enemies, I'm pretty sure. And all around is just an amazing power-up for platforming. Not to mention like other ones, other power-ups like the propeller hat, if you consider those power-ups. Some people don't, some people do. It's really mixed in that front. But my point is, power-ups really add to the platforming. And in terms of platforming, this game is pretty nice to control, especially if you're using a easier character like Mario. But something that isn't nice about the controls in this game is how we have almost no control over the camera. Especially in multiplayer, the camera in this game is terrible. I'm just gonna say it out front, it's terrible. I don't even think, like, the creators of this game realize how bad it is. Whenever you're playing multiplayer, right, if one character is just slightly ahead and, like, the camera can randomly just go to that person, right? Even if it's, like, the slightest bit ahead over everybody else. It is one of the worst cameras in any Mario game, I would argue. A lot of people like to say that, I'm pretty sure it's Sunshine and 64 have really bad cameras as well. But this game, like, from the ones I've played at least, I've played 64, like, not even, like, 10 minutes. I've only played 10 minutes. And I haven't even touched Sunshine, so I don't even know how bad their cameras are. I don't really watch those games' Let's Plays. But from experience, this camera is one of the worst cameras in terms of platformers. It is one of my least favorite. It's just so random, and that's the problem. It's not like, oh, this character's the host, so we're gonna focus on them. You have to follow them, or you're gonna be turned into a bubble and you're gonna fly all the way to them. I'm talking from a multiplayer perspective, because from a single player perspective, even though the camera can still be annoying, it's not as bad. It's pretty good. It can be annoying in some sections, and I'll give the camera this. In some levels, the camera is done very well, because even though you can't control it yourself, and that would be like really nice, some levels it's kind of necessary to have it be annoying like that. Like the shadow level with the piranha plants. That level is one of my favorites from the, I don't know which world it is, but that's one of my favorite levels in the game, and it would only work if you couldn't control the camera. But it's just so obnoxious being teleported to your friends or being bubbled to your friends while you're trying to grab something from another area because somebody went off and just went and to go do their own thing. But yeah, I really think that the camera is one of the worst aspects of this game, if not the worst, because I don't think I've been frustrated with something more in this game other than that, and sometimes whenever we're lagging. But sometimes that's just up to bad connection. So, although I can excuse the bad connection, I can't really excuse the controls, or the camera specifically.
Just like every other Nintendo game, this game has an overall incredible audio design. Whether we're talking about the sound effects or the music, it's all so well executed and organized. The sound effects are cartoonish yet very vibrant and really complement what you see on the screen. And of course the music. It just fits like every other Mario game and feels upbeat, plus it feels very exciting and adventurous, if that makes any sense. I feel as if the songs are all unique in their own way to fit the theme of the levels that they're in. Since we're talking about the audio, obviously this category was really short, but I just wanted to point out how well organized and designed this all was. But on to the last category, and now we're going to be talking about Bowser's Fury. If I had to compare Bowser's Fury to any games, it would probably have to be Mario Odyssey and 3D World, since it takes aspects from both games. You have the open exploration and map aspect from Odyssey, but have the 3D World power-ups and controls. Another Odyssey aspect is pretty much the objective. Instead of moons, you have to collect cat shines, which unlocks the super big cat bills so that you can defeat Bowser's new form. Bowser's Fury has an average 3 to 6 hour playthrough, so it's not anything crazy. But I enjoyed almost every second of it for multiple reasons. Now, first of all, I really liked how the game felt like a never-ending one. Obviously, it was pretty much just like one big level. You complete one island, fight Bowser, and then another shows up. I also enjoyed how the theme was mainly cats. It was pretty cool. Even the areas and enemies were in some sort of cat form too. I've heard a couple people blown away by this mode, but personally, although I did enjoy it a lot, I didn't find it as revolutionary as a lot of people made it seem. It was just a pretty good and entertaining mode. As an overall package, I would highly recommend this game. If you love platformers, Mario games, or Nintendo games in general, I definitely think you should try it out, especially if you didn't have a Wii U. The only thing I can really complain about for 3D World is the fixed camera being an issue for some levels, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed this game. So that's all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Before I end it, I just want to talk for a minute since I haven't uploaded in about 2 months now. I was originally only going to take about a 2 or 3 week break, but my new classes started and it was pretty time consuming. But I should have another video out within the next 2 weeks or so leave a like and subscribe, and until the next one.